What's up? Anyway, met Aaron over here. It was announced on the radio. Hottest place in Ireland over the weekend. Phoenix Park.
Oh, okay. Is it a bit of a sun trap in there?
I live in the fucking I live in this Phoenix Park.
You do. You basically do, yeah.
I literally live in this Phoenix Park, so that would make sense.
How are you feeling?
Oh, I was feeling sticky, Jen. I was feeling sticky and close. Is that the word? Close.
Yeah.
It was on top of me. It was around me.
It's everywhere.
It was everywhere. Not a fan. 2 out of 10. Wouldn't recommend.
Fair. Hello, and you're very welcome along to the Unpopular Opinion podcast. My name is Jen.
Hey, I'm Carla.
Here's our weekly reminder, real quick, that we're on Patreon. For €60, you'll get 5 extra episodes a month, 4 of which come in the form of a mini-sode every Monday, and then an extra one with a friend of a pod, gossiping about all the shit that happened during that month. Yeah, that's out of the way.
That's for you.
That's for you.
Yeah.
Linked below.
Link below. Go for it.
Go for it. Give us a little visit over there.
Give us a follow. I want to hear all your thoughts and opinions on Patreon.
Yeah.
Thanks
Exactly. Love Island. We have to talk about it. We haven't talked about it thus far. This is your warning now that this episode is going to be about Love Island. So if you're not into it, sorry. We'll see you next week. We had to do one.
Had to do one, gang. People have been
Hounding
begging us.
Yeah, hounding us.
And if you're not one of them, I'm so sorry.
So sorry. We'll
but
see
we
you
do
next
have
week.
a cool episode planned for Patreon.
We do.
Yeah, so
Go on over there. Review tomorrow.
Go there. What can I say? Well,
Miss Carla K Artistry.
Well, what a time to be alive.
It's fucking mental, isn't it?
So it's the most watched season of all time.
Yeah.
And you can tell
We'll
why.
believe.
And like, do you know what it is? I'm raging that they took out certain parts, but I'm also not raging because I do think it's a lot more protective of the contestants. But the problem was the balance got really bad in the last 3 years, where it was too edited and too stupid. And it was funny because somebody was moaning the other day being like, where's all the games? I was like, they were shite. Do you remember it was like, love doctor game, hop into the pool, then do a backflip onto this bench. Then once you do that, snog the fella that you fancy. And then he's going to carry you over to this random table where he's going to spit food in your mouth. No.
Yeah.
No.
There's some of the challenges I did find funny. Now, obviously, and I will, at one stage in my life, right, and I feel like it'll be my downfall, but I will catch up on seasons 1 to, what was the first one that I watched? The year with Molly May. That was the year that I started watching it.
Was that your first?
Yeah, because I had moved home, I was pregnant, that was a hot summer as well. But it was kind of like,
1 in 4, guys. We get 1 in 4. So this is supposed to be our hot summer. Summer 2018.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 2018. Can't really. What the fuck happened in 2018? I went on holidays that year. Oh, yes. I remember.
I went on holidays.
That was the year I made me patio furniture with me pallets. That was the year. That was that year. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Didn't get the fucking sun in the evenings, but sure, look, I enjoyed it.
It's such a weird one because everybody keeps moaning about the weather. I'm like, this is a nice summer.
This
is a very good summer.
Yeah.
Weather-wise.
Trees, plants, grass, thriving.
Everyone's living.
Bit of rain.
Yeah.
Do you know what would be great?
What?
If, and like this doesn't count for people that to be out all night and staying out until 5 o'clock and all that, but if it was like sunny, like real fucking hot every single day and then just rained at night, if we could organise that, be great, because then everything would be happy.
I'll have a chat.
Get on to Evelyn Cusack there.
Or even in the mornings. I wouldn't mind if it poured in the mornings.
No, I feel like it's detrimental now to your mood in the morning, what way the weather is.
Okay.
Because yesterday it was still wet from the night before, a bit damp. We record this on a Wednesday, by the way. And then you just feel And then this morning it was real summery, and I was just like, oh, this is it. No jacket today. No jacket today. And Bobby like kind of opened the fucking front door now. I have to get top latch, but he like ran out and he was like, it's a little bit warmer. And I was like, yeah, it's a sunny day, Bobby. It's a sunny day, Bob.
Welcome.
You're dead right.
Welcome, son. Yeah, oh my God, the intelligence off the charts.
It's a little bit warmer.
I'm going to enroll you in NASA, my son.
Exactly. And then he tries to sit in the driver's seat. And,
Look at him. He's already a fully functioning adult.
He is.
Yeah.
He, like, genuinely has his shit together more than I do half of the time.
Yeah.
He does. He knows. He's sure of himself. He knows who he is. I don't. I'm 34. He's 2.
Yeah.
He has more of an idea of himself than I do.
That's a pity, isn't it?
Fucking man's world, I tell you.
That's it. The privilege rolling off him already.
Born with it.
The white privilege rolling off that man.
And man. Like, man, white.
Yeah.
Fucking.
I know. He's got it all.
He's got it all, yeah. He's
stacked with the privilege, that
seriously.
man is. Absolutely.
Needs to be taken down a notch.
Got a gaff. Excuse you.
Slide tackle the fucker when I go home.
You see him going to take you down.
Yeah.
But yeah, Love Isle. This year, as I said, it's a totally different, like, I think it's a totally different format because they've essentially listened to us. We've been saying it for years.
They have,
But
yeah.
I do feel like it was always kind of pushed on by Fiat 500 Twitter. You know, that kind of group of girlies.
I don't know, because last year
Was shy.
it was shy, but what I feel like my Twitter algorithm, because we all know, and I'm not going to claim that I'm it because I'm not an OG fan.
Yeah.
I was a bandwagoner, but like, you watch Love Island, you go on Twitter, and
Yeah.
you're like, yes, that's, I think, the common thing if you're on Twitter, obviously, and if you're not, that's the way you do it. That's how you're supposed to watch it. But last year, I feel like I was on Black Twitter, and I nearly felt like I couldn't fucking say anything. Do you know what I mean? Because everybody was just all about Kaz not getting screen time, and I wasn't seeing any via 500 tweets and, like, you know, all this sort of stuff. I was just like, what, there's a bit of a shift this year or something like that. Like, they were going fucking mad last year
Yeah, I think the demand
about the democracy of the whole thing.
Yeah, I think and look, there's still a lot of stuff that they have to sort out.
Yeah.
But I think this year they've actually listened to what audiences are saying, where it's like, we want to see the couples interact. We don't want to see them do stupid games, because the games back in the day, the whole reason why they did the games is because they'd always be targeted to cause a stir. So do you remember the mean tweets one? And then they'd all have to do, like, it was always really pointed, all of the games that they did. It would be like...
Wasn't it the lie detector hasn't been done?
Lie detector hasn't been done in years, ever since... Oh, I feel like it was Danny Dyer's year, where something kicked off. I can't remember what happened, but something massive kicked off one of the years. So they were like, well, nope, not doing that one again.
Yeah.
And that's why everyone's like, let's go with movie night. I don't think movie night's going to happen because of what happened with Faye.
There's... Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it...
Not that I forgot about it.
Just
but
like the
that was
postcard,
reason.
because the postcard didn't happen this year because of Faye last year. So...
Although I am hearing rumours, and this will be released on Sunday, so there might be more confirmation, but I've heard rumours that the movie night episode is Sunday.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, that wouldn't... Yeah.
No, it was
they might
a random
do it, but they'll
tweet,
make
it
it...
mightn't.
I think... If they do movie night, it'll be totally different to last year, because last year they tried to be really ambiguous with it in the way that they kind of basically made it out that Tetty was getting what you won.
Yes.
And they really kind of did a number on that. And they did but then they didn't show Liam absolutely wearing the face off, essentially dating and being girlfriend, boyfriend with Lily.
Yeah.
With Lily. But that's besides the point. This year they're giving us everything. But obviously this week in particular we had...
Yeah, and this will all be irrelevant by the time this episode comes
this will all
out.
be irrelevant by this Sunday when they're actually... No, well, what? We've got like one...
Well, I mean, up until today, Jax left last night.
Yeah.
Millie and Liam, I know this is irrelevant to this.
Have broken up. Yeah.
The news came out today.
Yeah, but I think that's relevant to what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and then we've obviously had everybody coming back from Casa, the sucking of the tit. Like there's so many things. There was so much fallout.
Yeah.
And I think the way that they've planned it this year, like, I'm a massive fan of the show. I've been watching it since 2016. So I've been watching it a long enough time now to kind of see patterns. It has, over the years, it's gotten way more edited. It's become way more PG-13 and way less like rated R, which is absolutely grand. But they've taken out, there's little things like when the contestants used to smoke, that's when all the
shit went down.
That's when all the shit went down, but that's when all the conversations happened. It was the same on Big Brother, and that's what was kind of good, because in a way you have shoved them into a villa. They are on 24-hour surveillance. Like, it is very Big Brother-y, but it's not in the case that, like I was only thinking the other day, do you remember in Big Brother where they'd be like, okay, so the task this week is you all have to live off beans and rice, and these people are the rich people and they all get to live off whatever.
Yeah.
And the rich people have to shove it in the face of the poor people at all times.
And then there was always secret challenges.
There was always secret challenges. There was always like an agent of chaos thrown in there.
Yeah.
There was always something happening. I just don't know. There's talks that Big Brother is coming back. And who was the person that was, what guy? There was a guy that's been kind of put forward as he's going to be the host, and everyone was like, oh, that's going to be Mania. But I remember being like, is it? Because I feel like Davina, like, I don't rate Davina as a presenter, but I do think that she kind of, it was like the Caroline Flack effect. She knew the show. She understood the show.
Yeah,
She grew
she
up
was
with
there
the
since the
show.
start.
She was the show in
Yeah.
a way. Her career was kind of like, you knew Davina
Yeah.
McCall because of Big Brother, and also all the
Well,
other
she was
little
kind of
bits.
she was a Channel 4 stamp.
Yeah, she was, but I think like Big Brother was her real
Yeah.
thing. And then Emma Willis, of course, took over. But I never really associated Emma with. I thought Emma was a good interviewer. I will
She
say
was
that.
very good, yeah. And she called people out on their shit. Like.
And she did, and it's an interesting one because this year they really seem to have taken. Everybody was like, "Fuck," and I was one of those people. I was like, "I'm not watching Love Island this year if it's fucking shit."
Yeah.
I'm simply not going to do it to myself because last year it drove me up the wall.
Yeah.
It was not normal, the reactions, like, of myself. Even looking back, I'm like, and it was funny because obviously over here we've got My Pod on Paper, so shout out to Orla Condon, who does a serious amount of work on that.
Fucking hell, it's some turnaround.
Some turnaround. She is
Yeah.
ready and waiting every day after that episode is done.
And she takes, like, I don't know how she concentrates. She, like, basically writes down the talk. Or are they provided?
No,
Like,
she types it out.
she's-
Have you ever done it in person with her?
no.
Yeah. So I've done it literally every year since the show started. I've done it with
Yeah,
Orla.
no, I've just done it remotely, and it was
Yeah.
only this was the fourth season I was on it.
Yeah. And I thought you were on it last year. No,
No,
I could have sworn you were on it
if you're
before.
listening, she doesn't have time to listen. Let's be honest.
No, she's flat out. No, she's fucking too busy. But this is her. She was like, "This is my high time. This is peak, peak for me, baby." But no, I think what's interesting. So she types along as to everything that's happening. So she types notes.
She must be one of them. What are they called in court?
So we'd watch together, and I'd be like, "Did you see that?" And she'd be like,
Yeah.
"That's fucking mad."
Yeah, gas.
But she'd be like, "Hold your commentary."
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
gas.
And then on the breaks, she'd be like, and then,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's very interesting. But if you don't listen to My Pod on Paper, and if you're a Love Island fan, absolutely listen to My Pod on Paper. It is a seasonal podcast, and it does the Lord's work. If you're looking for, if the group chat's a bit dim, and if your mates aren't watching it, if your office isn't watching it, that's where you're gonna go.
Also, if you're waiting, this is another recommendation. She's not Irish or anything like that, but there's a space on Twitter, because obviously they have their spaces now. Talks with Ash is a space. So if you're following the Love Island hashtag or at the topic, it's a lot easier to follow
Is
it
a
now.
space like a Twitter group, like Facebook groups, except for
It's
Twitter?
like a WhatsApp group.
Oh shit!
It's so you can join the space, and like everybody who's in the space, their profile will show up, and you'll see the little microphone beside the person who's speaking. Now there's a moderator, so she will allow people to speak, or I think there's like a queue request join thing
Voice memo.
if you want to talk. Yeah,
But that's like
but I think it's
Clubhouse,
live.
no?
Kind of, but it's integrated into Twitter, but it's directly after the show, because obviously your My Pod on Paper takes. Obviously, you need your hour to record, and then it comes out at like 12 o'clock
Yeah.
at night.
Oh.
So this is like directly after it.
Okay,
If you're like looking to gossip, or listen to.
that's interesting. I didn't
There's
know that.
enough in any way, but this is in the form of like voice memos. I think it's live, but
Yeah.
it's not video. It's like a WhatsApp group.
Yeah. I think this year's really interesting because they've taken the feedback on, but they still made it interesting. So they did things on purpose. I do think, and I've talked about this on my pod, where I think that they've learned the cast is still too young for me.
Yeah.
You get the best drama out of people who are active. The reason why it's important to put older people into it is because older people have more experience, which means that they know when they're being lied to. They know when they're, they almost have a little bit of trauma, which carries the storyline along a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Like, see with the Jax thing, right? So there's been 1,000,001 things that have happened with Paige and Jax. Everybody knew she was forgiving him before he whipped out that fucking false notes app bollocks, being like, "I like you, you should like me. Let's get and have a little kiss." Do you know? But everyone was like, "She's forgiving him. We know what this girl is about already. We can already figure out, like, she's accepted the way that he's spoken to her. She's accepted this. She's accepted that. Whatever." The only thing that I think the introduction of Adam Collard, which was just, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
Genius.
I didn't
Fucking
watch his season.
Genius.
Do you know what's funny? Because the most famous scene of him was actually the one night in 2018
That you watched it?
that I watched it, and I was like, "This is fucking too." But you know what? It was the way everyone walked. I was like, I couldn't watch this.
Yeah, the famous walk.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I think, and I just obviously wasn't in the mood of it. I was watching other things. I was like in the middle of a series watching Suits and, you know, stuff like that. So
you were just like, I'm not watching
I didn't
this
have the
shite.
interest yet. And it's so funny because the scene, I was like, I saw this.
Yeah.
But it never, like...
It didn't register, and you didn't know what a menace he had been to society previous. Yeah.
And like obviously Women's Aid have had to put out like a statement at the time.
They put out a statement at the time, which is absolutely, like, considering back then people weren't as vocal, let's just say, about Love Island. They weren't as skittish either about what was happening and what was being done to people and what was being said and the way that things were.
There was no conversation about gaslighting.
No, and now it's like they had to put out, when he entered the show this year, not even when he had done anything.
That's what I was going to say.
When he
as well.
entered the show, they put out another statement.
They had to put out a statement before he even took 2 steps into the villa.
Yeah, exactly. So the statement they put out when the series, so just to give you guys an update as to who Adam Collard is, if you don't know, or if you haven't watched, or you've probably seen bits and bobs, you've probably seen scenes. So Adam Collard went in as a bombshell, but the original, you know the way Davide, you know the way they go in either that day or the day after, they're the 6th boy or the 6th girl. There's always that kind of way. So Adam was the 6th boy.
So he went in on day 1 essentially.
So he went in on day 1 essentially. So it's a bombshell, but not really.
Yeah.
It's like they let
Tommy
everybody...
Fury and Curtis, they were both bombshells as well.
But they are the day 2. So they're the day 3 or day 4. So they always do this pattern. It's always the original 5, the original 5, but the 6th person is already cast in that original. So it's like all the promo, and it goes boy girl. So next year it'll be a girl.
Yes.
Yeah. So
and Chloe was last year.
Chloe was last year, and they enter in night 1 or night. Yeah. They go in basically with the original cast. Yeah. But they're seen as the outnumbered one, the one who can steal. Yeah,
the one who steals, goes in to shake things up essentially.
So Adam was that one for that series. He immediately stole Kendall from Niall. So Niall was a contestant. Niall's done a lot of work on TikTok and Instagram and stuff, kind of going, essentially, I think his NDA must have expired with Love Island because now he's really openly talking about what happened to him when he was in the villa. So Niall, I think, left pretty much around the same time as Liam did. I think he did a week, maybe 10 days max, and then he left because he had a psychotic episode.
Oh, fuck.
So he had a psychotic episode when he had mental health issues, and I think he has a form of autism.
Right.
And they were all aware. He did all the psych. He passed. He cleared. Because that's another thing that's really important, particularly when we're talking about Jax, is that there's a serious amount of psych
analysis
and evaluations that everybody has to do. There's a massive, like, it's not just like she's fit, pop her in.
Yeah, they have to make sure you're mentally able for it.
And they do a lot of kind of like, how would you react to this situation? How would you react to that situation? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that?
Everybody in that situation would lie. I feel like it's a job interview, and that you would, like, you talk yourself up. You're never honest in situations like that.
No, but I think that they've had to get better with it over the years, and that's why we've ultimately ended up with really boring casts and younger casts.
Right, okay.
Because it's been, like, again, the lack of trauma, the lack of understanding relationships, and the lack of, I suppose, like, afterthought.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of the, like, hindsight is a beautiful thing.
Marvellous.
But when you're 23 and you've had 2 boyfriends, it's not really the same.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, when you look at season 2, which I still think was the most explosive, let's just say, most explosive series that they've ever had. Series 3, again, was almost edited down from season 2, because in season 2, you have to remember, somebody tried to bottle someone. Right. On camera, and that was shown. She was a bombshell. She was in for, I think, 2 hours, got locked.
I've read about her,
got locked, started this fight and was removed immediately from the villa, and that's why I was like, that was very Big Brother-ish.
Yeah,
you know, where it was like actual physical fights. Now they've no tolerance, which I think is appropriate. I don't think that there's a need that like, especially for the demographic that Love Island appeals to, which is like 15 to 34 is their main demographic. I'm like, no one really needs to see cagey people scrapping on TV. But what happened with that, anyway, going back to what happened with Adam came in, he stole Niall's original partner, which is a girl called Kendall. She seemed like a really nice girl, seemed like a sweetheart, very much was kind of like, you've to work hard to be with me. He immediately was like, I kind of just picked you because you were fit, so this isn't really what I'm looking for. And she ended up getting dumped from the island because of him.
Oh my God.
Because they sent in 2 girl bombshells then.
Right.
And one of them was Rosie, the girl that you see in many of the kind of I suppose the adverts for Adam.
Yeah.
Because he kind of immediately coupled
That's
up with
the one
her.
with the walk, is it?
The one with the walk
Yeah.
and the red lipstick. You should see her now. Oh my God. She was always a babe, but holy fuck. She has
had
just
another
gotten,
glow up, did she?
She's had a glow up part 2. She's unbelievable. But she kind of got with Adam. She was with Adam. I think she was coupled up with him for like 2 weeks, which is a long time in the Love Island villa.
Yeah.
I think back then this show was running for... No, it was running for 8 weeks. It still was running for 8 weeks. But they were coupled up for quite a length of time. I think anything over the week mark is a long time to be coupled up with someone.
Married, essentially. Engaged,
At least. And so that was the crack with him. Another bombshell. So essentially, anytime a girl bombshell came in, he'd get with her.
Okay.
So he came in, stole Kendall. Kendall got sent home because he sacked her off for Rosie. Got with Rosie, slept with Rosie, sacked her off for Zara pretty much immediately. So that's Zara McDermott, who is she's now dating Sam Thompson from Made in Chelsea.
Okay.
So she's still kind of she's in Made in Chelsea too. Well, she's not so much in it anymore, but she was in it for quite a few seasons when they first started dating. Just a little side note, there was a mad plot line because she ended up getting in that X Factor band with all the other cast-offs from that season, with Wes, EL, and it was Zara, Wes, EL, and Samira.
Okay.
They did X Factor. She ended up cheating on Sam Thompson with one of the producers from X Factor.
Oh, dear God.
Said she cheated on him basically because your man promised her the earth, moon, and stars. That was a big plot line in Made in Chelsea. I love when reality TV I just love.
Oh, little spin-off.
Yeah, like Love Island to X Factor to Made in Chelsea.
Lovely.
Gorge. And now Sam Thompson does a lot, he does podcasts, he does a lot of presenting, he does a lot of that kind of stuff. So anyway, it was big. It was a big time. It was big things.
Okay.
Got with Zara. Zara got sent home because they used to do the most unpopular boy and the most unpopular girl votes, and she ended up getting sent home. She got sent home. He was very much when he got with Zara, he was like, no, she is the woman for me, blah, blah, blah. Casa Amor happened the next day, brought a bird back from Casa Amor.
Yeah.
Then they got dumped together.
Okay.
Effectively.
Right.
And then Zara got back with him.
Oh, outside the villa.
So I think they stayed together for a good year.
Okay.
They stayed together for quite a bit. And there's a piece that's going around now where Sam is with Zara, because Sam and Zara have been together, I'd say 3-4 years now, maybe.
Okay.
And he watches Love Island and he does some I don't know what he does with it, but he's like, who's this hunk? Who's this bombshell? Look at them tattoos. Look at them abs. It's your fucking ex-boyfriend.
Oh, I saw that. It's a TikTok.
And she's not paying attention.
Is that Zara?
That's Zara. And she's not paying attention. She looks up and she's like,
what the fuck?
And then under that video, Rosie was like, you have got to be kidding me. So his man, 4 years later, people are still affected by what he did.
And sure, when he went in, people were like, first of all, Ekin was like, I know you.
Yeah, everybody was like, is that Adam Collard? Yeah.
And well, it was Tasha that was like, is that Adam Collard? And she pinged it immediately
she was
because
like,
everybody else was like, I kind of recognise him.
Yeah.
And she was like, is that Adam Collard? And then, because she was like putting 2 and 2 together, because obviously they were summoning the demon. They were like, ADAMS, or all this doing their fucking chant or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I think Tasha was like, hold on, Adam.
Yeah. Tasha got a fright. You could tell she was like, oh God, no, because he was a fucking demon. He was a menace to women. Mm-hmm. He was one of those, the only reason he stayed in is because he got lucky with the way that the votes were happening. It was it wasn't because people were keeping him on. The minute that people had a crack at him, they got rid of him. You know? He was never being saved by the public. He was only being saved by Love Island.
Though, because the way that the kind of understanding of Love Island has kind of
changed,
switched, I feel like if the audience was then the way they are now, and they're just loving the drama, he wouldn't have been voted out. I feel like they're keeping in the most menacing, because I feel like if it was got down to people not agreeing with people's behaviour, I can see it would have been gone long ago. But people are loving the drama now, so they're keeping them in.
But they haven't. What they've done is they haven't put in as many bombshells. Because the problem was, again, with last year, is that they kept flinging bombshells at the situation who didn't have enough time to develop when people wanted the old cast to be voted out.
Yeah.
So this year what they've done is they've almost been like, we're only going to do X amount of vote-offs. And they've been very clever because what's great about this season is that they've listened. So it's the least popular, when it's time to let the least popular people go, they let that happen. When it's time to cause a stir, they let the rest of the islanders decide. Versus this kind of, because what was happening every other time is that the lads would have a best mate
Yeah, and they
And it was always the lads' call. It was always, no matter what, it was always the lads' call.
Do you remember the year, Molly May's year? That's I was like, the fucking misogyny.
Yeah.
Last
year was even worse. Last year was truly the worst TV I've seen. It pissed me off so much with
Yeah.
the stuff that was going on, with how the women were being treated. I was
Yeah.
like, I physically cannot sit here and watch this any longer.
It was, and when you think of last year's Casa Amor, it was literally like every single girl. Wasn't it every single girl, apart from the single ones?
Yeah.
That were like, no, we're sleeping out on the day. But like,
Yeah.
they barely
Yeah.
talked to the Casa Amor lads. I felt
know.
so sorry
I felt so
for
bad
them.
for them. I know. It was
No,
tough
they were,
crowd.
again, shit picks for Casa
Yeah.
Amor in comparison to the women.
Yeah. But they did, for some reason, but I think the reason why they made, because obviously the casting this year was very, I think, unbalanced with the way that they cast the men for Casa and the way that they cast the women for Casa.
Yeah.
But I think that was done on purpose because the women have the chokehold this year versus the men. So
Yeah.
it's the girls that have kind of been calling the shots a lot more than the guys have been.
True.
You've got Gemma, who really sticks up for herself. Tasha, who was kind of in and out of fancying every single bombshell. There was all that kind of stuff versus you had Paige and Jax, which was always just a terminal situation. And then there was all those other bits and bobs. So there was that kind of. So what we've had essentially in the last week is that we've had Titgate, which was just the most memeable thing ever in the world.
Yeah.
Which is obviously Andrew saying that he sucked a girl's tit in Casa when he was supposed to be dating Tasha.
So but it wasn't, it was because Coco had turned around to the lads and said, but she did it in a real whoops kind of way.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he sucked my tit.
I
And
think
was
she
like, oh,
did it.
I have to tell Andrew now that I'm after telling them that. So he went straight to Tasha and he was like,
But he was
I
like,
sucked
you
the
told
tit
people
away,
that, did you?
I sucked the tit away, bar. And Tasha was like, or what? And he's like, yeah, I sucked the tit away, bar.
He goes, I don't, because I sucked your tit or whatever. And Tasha just goes, what? I licked your tit or whatever. As if that's got the lick from the suck is going to be better. Anyway.
Yeah.
Comedy.
Very funny. I did read today, there was a podcast of, is it Murad? Who does his own. So he had interviewed Charlie, Jasmine, and the other Casa girl, I can't remember her name. That's
Molly.
Molly, yes. Molly.
Oh, you mean
Jasmine.
It's not Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie.
No, Jasmine, Molly. No, it was
What?
it was like Charlene or Charmaine or something like that.
Cheyenne? No, she
Cheyenne.
wasn't. No.
Was she not?
No, so, but
Oh,
sorry,
Charlie.
it wasn't just Casa, sorry. So it was Charlie.
Gordon Ramsay Jr.
Gordon Ramsay Jr. Yeah, so Jasmine. So Jasmine had apparently, so Andrew had turned, and this, they were talking about stuff that didn't air, essentially.
Yeah.
And they were like, there was really important bits that could have been very fucking different if they had been aired. So Jasmine, basically, she went in and she was one of the girls that was like, you're getting mugged off, like, what the fuck? But Andrew had told her, he was like, I manifested you. Like, you are literally made for me. Like, he was fucking marrying her off. And then Jasmine told Coco that in, like, the dressing room or whatever. And the second she told her, Coco went off and fucking kissed Andrew.
Yes, but at the same time, who's in the wrong here? Coco, who knew Jasmine for less than 24 hours.
Oh, no, absolutely.
And was here. Because this is the weird, I don't know if I'm coming at it. See with Ekin-Su and all that other crack. Everyone's so quick to demonise these people. And same with Adam. Like, Adam was an absolute prick on his season. But this time, I'm like, he's in there. What is he there to do? They need to think about it.
Yeah.
If Adam Collard walked into that fucking villa, I'd be like, this cunt is in here for a reason, and the reason is to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
So not to rise to him is going to be my reaction. I'm going to have a chat with me fella and tell him to say the same. It was the same when you go to Casa Amor. What are they there? They're there to make the main villa. They're not there to date you for life.
Yeah, exactly.
They're there to get a kiss and possibly a shag. That's about it. They're not there for any other reason. So, when it came to that Jasmine Coco thing, again, Jasmine, 22.
Yeah.
Coco, 27. Massive difference.
Massive difference,
Coco was like, thank you for telling me the weak spot. I'm going to go and exploit it right now.
Oh, no, I'm not demonising her, but what I'm saying is the fucking producers should have shown that.
They should have shown that whole chaos.
Because Andrew was getting away with fucking murder, I feel.
But I think, again, there's a reason. So they're being careful. Exactly with the Jax exit. So obviously we've seen Jax have an absolute mad one. lose his brain essentially of Adam coming in. I thought it was very funny when Adam was like, man, I haven't even done anything yet.
Yeah,
and he was like, I haven't even gotten warmed up, I haven't even started. And I'm like, and you know he's there on purpose to do stuff like that. Like, he didn't come in and be like, oh, by the way, Tash, this is what's after happening, and Andrew, this is also what's after. Like, that's not the way he'll do it. He'll do it and it'll be explosions. He's there for one reason, to be on TV. He's not there to find the bird of his dreams. He's famous enough now with his 1 million followers that he doesn't need...
That's true.
Like, he doesn't need a bird from a TV show of a selection of 6.
Yeah.
Do you know? Like, he's in there for one reason only. To be like... It's like when Mark from California went on Big Brother, and he was, again, just an absolute agent of chaos.
Yeah.
He went in on purpose to fuck shit up and make a name for himself. Divisive still means you're popular.
Yeah.
Undivisive means you're forgotten. And that's just the end of that.
Inoffensive.
You know, like, how many memes of Destiny's Child keeps going around? Like, you either have to be absolutely loved or absolutely hated. Otherwise you're not going to be remembered.
Yeah.
And you don't want to go into a show that's getting so popular and being seen all over the globe and not be remembered. Like, look, Shanice. She is now modelling for Skims.
Yeah.
And that's because she had such an up and down time in the villa, and she was so divisive at the start. People hated her, they loved her, and then they kind of grew to love her. Same with, like, Faye and Teddy, Faye's meltdowns and her brown lipstick. And, you know, you have to have a thing. And that's, like, kind of, you have to have almost like a token item to you when you go into these things. And that's the difference, I think, when it comes to, like, Casa Amor girls and Casa Amor boys now. You just have to be resistant of what's right in front of you and think with your brain, but those lads just cannot.
No, they can't. They fall for it every time.
They fall for it every time. And that's what's interesting about Millie and Liam's breakup, because a lot of people said that what's after, like, when did Casa happen? Last Monday? So it's been 10 days. Maybe a little bit more.
I feel like Casa
11
was really
days.
short this time.
It was short, but the girls keep saying in interviews that it was 5 days. So they did actually have 5 days in the villa.
So they cut it down.
So they cut. Well, they have to cut it down. But it's funny
No,
because
but they usually air it and from, like, the Sunday to the Thursday, and then the recoupling's on the Friday, and then you're waiting on the Sunday.
You're
waiting
on the Sunday, but this time,
the recoupling was on a fucking Thursday or Tuesday. But I think really short, like,
but better, because I think that's, like, no matter what happened with Coco and Jasmine, you had to see Andrew's decision for Coco. Because obviously something happened with them two on the terrace, where the producers viewed the footage and was like, he's not going back to Jasmine, so we're going to have to run with the Coco thread.
Yeah,
we don't need to see the Jasmine thread. In fact, she's not making any connections with anybody else. We don't really need to show her at all. And that's why it's, like, important. I think Gav, is it Gav O'Reilly or Gav Riley?
Gav, the journalist fella?
Yeah. He did a thread about
O'Reilly.
basically sometimes you're missing 60 hours essentially between, because even with the Jax thing, everyone's like, how did this happen so quickly? I'm like, it didn't. It absolutely didn't. They have to edit down a show. It's 45 minutes every night.
And they're filming essentially 24 hours a day.
Yeah, exactly. And then they can't, like, loads of people are like, oh, they put so much filler stuff in. And I'm like, yeah, but then if they forgot about, say, Dami in India for 4 days, then people are screaming that they haven't seen Dami in India.
Yeah.
Or if they forget about Gemma and Luca, same situation. So it's like, you do have to edit in shy chats. You do have to edit in people messing in the pool. You do have to kind of do those things. Unfortunately, you do. It can't just be 24/7 drama, as much as we'd love to, but then you'd just be forgetting about couples, and you're misleading, I suppose, the representation of those couples too.
Right.
Because what you see more is the things that you're going to gravitate towards. I couldn't give a fuck about Gemma and Luca because we haven't really seen them since the first 2 weeks.
Boring.
But they are so boring, and I don't think that anything's going to change. But I do think that Gemma is a lot more interesting than Luca.
So that was another thing as well that they were saying was left out of, like, the airtime, that a load of people are under the illusion that Luca is, like, 90% and Gemma is 10%. Gemma is a hell of a lot more into Luca than that's being made out.
Yes, but at the same time, I think the different way is the way that they show things. I think Gemma knows herself, and Gemma was somebody that I didn't really gravitate towards whatsoever when she first started the show. And then as it's gone on, I'm like, wow, you really, considering the amount of random shit that Luca has thrown at her, I'm like, she's really held herself.
For her age.
For her age. Again, she's 19. Shut your face. She's 19.
Yeah.
And she's dated Jax and some other, as I call them on Orla's podcast, absolute groomers. But she's, like, tasted, like, a very small amount of people because she's only been active for that amount of time. But I think the way that she handled the Jack situation, because she never went in there being like, he's this, he's that, he's the other, he's the worst. She very much let Paige figure it out herself.
Yeah.
And then gave sage advice. She wasn't like, he's a hothead, he's this, he's X, he's what. She'd be like, you know he's a hothead because you've told me that before.
Yeah.
Instead of going in and being like, oh, he's a dickhead, he did X to me and Y and this happened and that happened. She was just kind of like, well, that's to be expected because that's the kind of person that he is.
Yeah.
I actually learned a lot about that, about like how to handle things from her.
Yeah, yeah.
Because sometimes you do want to be like, he's a wanker. I can't wait to tell everyone about
what he did.
Instead, she just very much went in being like, top
She's
line
making
only.
it about Paige.
She's making it about Paige and Paige making her own decisions and then just trying to give, like, when Paige goes to her for advice, she's not being like, personally, I found with him. She's being like, well, yeah, that is.
But then she could also
true.
be thinking, like, as well, she's probably changed since her and Jax's relationship. That she probably thinks maybe he's changed. You know what I mean? So he's probably not the same person that she did date.
Yeah.
Do you know? Like last night when he was saying his goodbyes, and we'll go through the couple one by one and we'll move on. But last night when he was saying goodbye to Luca and seeing Gemma's reaction, I was like, isn't it so fucking weird that her ex is in there?
Yes, it really is. Because she made like when he was saying his speech, she didn't move.
No, absolutely.
Poker face.
Poker face, yeah.
She didn't breathe. She
didn't even open her
was
lips.
Just like,
no, she just...
It wasn't like... She was just like...
Yeah, and then when she was saying goodbye, she was just like, come here, bring it in. That kind of...
She was very much like...
Luca was more upset that he was leaving. And I was like, this is so fucking weird.
I'd be going out with you. I was like, that's not the truth, but anyway.
I was like, this is so fucking weird that he's like, after essentially adopting him. And then also, I was kind of like, with Jax... I was like, I don't trust him with the whole Paige thing. I don't. It was a very weird thing, and I know like he's going through some shit, and I don't want to say too much either because like you just never know. But at the same time, I was like, did he go in to try and get Gemma back? And then it didn't work, and now he's just like.
I don't think he went in to get Gemma back. I think. When Love Island started, the producers made the mistake of making it Gemma Island, and every single thing was about Gemma and who Gemma was dating, and that's why people didn't really like her that much because she's not a warm person.
No,
in any way, shape, or means.
No, she's not funny. She's not a real person.
She's very
so
dry.
Flat. Yeah.
She's flat and she's dry, but she's sensible and she's her own person.
She's unproblematic as well.
And she's unproblematic, and it's funny because even like everyone says that about Michael Owen. Like Tom was like, it's like watching her dad.
Yeah,
I wouldn't expect anything more because he is known as one of the most boring men in the world.
Yeah.
So it is interesting because I'm like, oh, I didn't know that about Michael Owen. I didn't really thought that I cared. But Jax went in as a gotcha.
Yeah.
He 100% went as a gotcha to Gemma to see if anything would rattle her. Because that was obviously her most recent ex and everything else like that. He wasn't put through the same amount of process as everyone else. They're like, he's a fit ex of Gemma's. Let's see if he's interested. He's interested, great. He got sacked in. Yeah. So that's why we're after seeing what's after happening with Jax. He should have never been cast.
Yeah.
He had pink flags to red flags to the raging red flags all over the place. Consistently, the way he spoke to women was wrong. The way he handled situations was wrong. His misogyny was through and through. The way he spoke to Ek and Sue and all that other kind of stuff was absolutely foul. Like, he's consistently shown that he's not a sound person.
Yeah.
Regardless, because obviously his family came out being like he's ADHD and this is how you should treat people and blah, blah, blah. And to be honest, I call bollocks because there's plenty of people in the world who have mental health issues and many other kind of issues that still aren't a cunt.
Yeah.
And that still don't manifest it in that way.
It doesn't make it cunt.
I understand as regards to, I'm like, oh, that makes sense to how he reacts to some situations, but not for his explosive situation, but not to his consistent behaviour.
No.
And how he thinks it's okay to turn around and say really fucked up things consistently to women. Because he wasn't like that towards the lads.
Yeah.
Until Adam came in and somebody absolutely rattled him. But even so, he said fuck all to Adam.
Yeah.
He said everything to everyone else. Took it out on his bird. Took it out on Paige the most. And that's when she was like, okay, I think it's time to actually kill things off.
Yeah.
And I think he was waiting for that to happen. But he did nothing to Adam.
No, he didn't. No, it was funny because I insist on watching it at the 9 o'clock stuff. Adam is still in the sitting room. I'm like, Love Island's going on, and he'll constantly ask questions, that kind of thing.
And you're like,
and so the whole Adam and Jax thing was on last night, and he, like, you know, Jax was running his mouth or whatever, and Adam was like, why is he sitting there running his mouth and not going over to your man? And I was just like, because he's a little pussy ass bitch.
Just
And
a
he's
little
like,
pussy-ass
he
bitch.
fucking is. And he actually reminds me of, just looks wise, of me cousin. Kind of looks like him. Not looks like him, but he has the kind of mousy features. Like, he kind of has a little puppy dog face.
He
and
does,
like
yeah.
the fluffy hair.
Yeah.
And the cheeky
The hair is so fluffy this year.
Yeah, the cheeky chappy kind of vibe, but he's a cheeky fuck. And I'm like,
Yeah,
he
he's
looks
a little
my
bollocks,
cousin.
isn't
He's
he?
a cheeky little
Yeah,
fucker.
you're like, you're a cheeky little bollocks. You're a cheeky one.
bastard. He's like, he looks like, I'm not going to say his name. He looks like, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, actually, yeah,
You're like,
dead right. Image.
you love putting. You said that Teddy looked like Tom.
Who?
Teddy, do you remember last year? You're like, he's the image of Tom.
He is. He was, yeah. Tom was white Teddy. He was. I like putting a familiar face onto somebody that I.
That is actually
yeah.
it's because ever since I'm like, yeah, very, very, very true.
Yeah, let's run through it. Right, so who do we have at the moment? We have Ekin-Su and Davide.
My winners.
Davide. Yeah.
My winners.
I'd be absolutely delighted if they won it.
Do you know why? Because Davide is so unintentionally funny.
Yeah.
He keeps to himself.
Yeah.
He doesn't stir shite. And he's first of all, he's fantastic to look at. And second of all, he's just gas.
Kind of just laughs things off.
He does. He's just like, okay, there'll be another woman for me.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're just like, I fancy you so much because you're just so wild. And then Ekin-Su, again, I feel like we're gone past this, like, we used to hate people for wanting to be famous, but then still expect a stellar cast.
Yeah.
And I think we've pushed past that with Ekin. Ekin went in there to be famous, and I fucking love that about her.
Yeah.
She went in there, she's like, what do you want me to do? Crawl around on the balcony? Not a problem.
it.
What do you want me to do? Say X, Y, and Z? I'll do it. Do you want me to like make out that we had a fumble under the sheets with George? Perfect. Anything else, I'll fucking do it. As long as it keeps me going.
Yeah.
And as long as this whole thing keeps revolving around me, I will fucking do. I love a bird who's very indulgent with her want to be famous.
If she
Good for you, Ekin.
doesn't do an Olivia Atwood and have like a series of documentaries, I will be very sad.
She absolutely will. And we'll see, and that's what's great. Ekin is very much playing a character in there, and I can't
Yeah.
wait to see the next one. Because if you don't know, Ekin-Su was in this like pilot for like, it was like a Geordie Shore, but I think it was in like Lincoln or somewhere shit. So it was like Lincoln Shore.
Lincoln Shore,
Yeah, gas.
Or Latin Shore. Or something
anyway,
like
it was
that,
one of those-
There was no mics.
No, and it was
the-
one of those kips.
It was filmed on a phone. It was lit by a lamp.
It was one
a
of those
corner
like
lamp.
uni kind of like uni cities.
It
was
nearly
funny.
looked like the start of a really badly produced porno or something. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of what it looked like.
Exactly.
She was in a Turkish, like Neighbours.
Turkish soaps, yeah.
And then she was in a Turkish music video not too long ago. She ran for Miss Ireland.
Loved it.
She's done so much, and she's mad for it, and we're mad for her.
Yeah, she's fucked everything at the wall to make it stick. And like Evoke were on this article the other day being like, see all the work that the girls have gotten done before going into the villa. And like in Turkey, aesthetics are huge.
Oh, massive. If you're not going around with a plaster on your nose, you're fucking
Yeah,
no one.
who are you?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, exactly. And I love the fact that she went in and like in the caption, and this is like as Love Island was happening, it was like to prepare her for the villa. Like she knew. Do you know what I mean? She was like, I'm going onto this TV show. I need to look my best. Let's go and get a shit ton of work done. I fucking love that.
it. And I love that she had the money to do that in the first place.
I'm just
great,
like, you're
isn't it?
cool. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just
fair
like, do you know what? You knew what like, even if you cleared the bank account, you'd be like, there's more money when I come out of this villa.
Yeah.
Because I know what I'm going in there to. I love a bird who's so self-assured. I'm like,
Yeah, love
go
that.
for it, Ekin. I'm absolutely obsessed. Love them.
Right, Gemma and Luca.
Like, I wish she found a better bloke.
Yeah.
Because she'd actually be in the running to win, because I think she is I don't think she's the most exciting character. I think she's necessary for that cast.
Do you think she's there to win?
No, I don't think she gives a fuck. I think, again, people have this...
It's a profile more
She
so for-
didn't like so my friend was sought out for Love Island
Right.
4 years ago, 2018, the season that could have been Adam. And they like actively seek people out in
That's
particular.
true, yeah.
Now, like my mate Heather is honestly one of the most
unreal.
beautiful people you will ever come across in your life. She is quite literally
She's an angel. She's a
an
goddess.
angel. She's unbelievable, and she's she is a firecracker.
She's perfect for it.
She's perfect for it. And now she's like, I've aged out. She's 34 now. So she's like, I've aged out of that show, babe. I would have been the fucking oldest people in there. But like, at the time, it was mad.
Yeah.
But she was asked to like come on audition. She did the whole process, whatever else like that. She ended up, didn't go the whole way. That was grand. But these things, they had approached her for years. They kept coming up, but they approached her for every reality TV show.
Right.
And Coco was supposed to go on MAFS UK.
What's maths?
Married at First Sight. So she dropped Married at First Sight when she was offered Love Island.
Fuck.
Yeah, so she was supposed to go on Married at First. I know, what a fucking dickhead. But the problem is, when you get cast, same with Maura. Maura was supposed to be a Casa Amor girl. And then when they saw what was happening with Molly May and Tommy Fury, they said, let's bump her up the line and pop her in as a bombshell earlier on.
Great move.
Exactly. Just like they do with, that's why when you see people go in, they always come in for a person that's kind of, you're like, that's mad how, you know, India and Dami need to be tested. And Summer said she's just after going in there for Dami. Obvious, that's how they're fucking, do you know? They've a group of people there, and it just depends on what's happening in the plot line and whether to throw them in or not. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the whole fucking point.
It's a pool of people. There's no kind of running order.
It's not this like, oh shit, well we had her, like, no. It's like, that's the point. Like, if you look at Kayla Troy, she's an Irish DJ. She went in last year as a Casa girl, but she was told in May that she had gotten it, and she was just told, you've got it.
Yeah.
It doesn't say when, how, when, shape or where, and then she ended up going in as Casa. Now she's kind of done magazine interviews being like, oh, it was shit and blah, blah, blah. But like, if you get put as a Casa, it's just a bit shit, because you're like, if I'm put in as Casa,
hated going in.
You're hated going in, and it's very hard to pull yourself out of that.
Yeah.
And that's, I think it was different for, like, say, the only people that have done really well out of Casa was Josh and Kaz, and the only reason they did is because the girl that he was originally coupled with in the villa was a very divisive character, and her name was Georgia. It was almost like another Tash.
Yeah.
Like, not in the way that she was hunting out every bloke, but just as in she was irritating, and people didn't really like love her. So,
and Ovi, he's done really well.
And Ovi did amazingly, yeah. And Ovi has done amazing, and that's what I mean. But there's only it's like every second year.
Yeah.
You get a banger out of Casa.
Yeah,
and like, that's what I mean about, like, that whole thing. Like, Coco was supposed to be on maths, so they did this whole article on Evoke being like, Ekin-Su got lip, cheek filler, she got jaw filler, she got, you know, these different bits and bobs done. I'm like, dead right, chick. Yeah, but yeah,
absolutely. Right, so we kind of have Tash and Andrew, who aren't coupled up at the moment, but they're gonna couple up if there's another recoupling.
Despise them.
Yeah.
It's just the same fucking fight over and over again. They'll be dumped, and they're not right for each other. She, like, if this was always going to be the sauce, then why the fuck did she do all that shit at the start? You get me? If she was always like, she tried to do this thing, and I think with Tash, she enjoys male attention in a different way to other people. So, like, when a bombshell came in and she was, like, kind of half interested, they'd obviously latch onto that, because you just have to figure out what bird's interested, what bird will go for you. And you have to stay. The whole aim of the game is to stay in.
Yeah, because I remember at the start, it was like every bombshell was into Tasha, or every bloke was into
Tasha. Luca was into Tasha.
We were like, how? But then it was obviously because she gave them the time of day.
She gave them the time of day. And that was always the bird that she was.
Yeah.
Like, so I think with her and Andrew, they're not going to really, like, I think Andrew, like, he's a rat, but he did.
Yeah.
He just did things poorly, and it's not so much what he did in Casa Amor, because he's been consistent. Like, they've been the most, like, sexually active, let's just say, without actually having sex. They've been the most kind of, like, doing bit, like, whatever you want to call it now.
Yeah.
Beautician, whatever, doing bits club. They were the most active. So for him and Coco to be doing stuff like that as well, I'm like, it's consistent with him as a person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Not surprising.
Not surprising at all. But then it's the way that he dealt with Coco after the situation is what pissed me off. I don't think he actually did anything too wrong in Casa, because I'm like, at that point in time, he was very riled up. And again, the girls in Casa came in to stir shit up.
And
Jasmine even said,
anyway.
But Jasmine even said she was the one who told him most of the shit that Tash was saying, but we weren't shown it.
Yeah.
So again, you have to fill in the gaps yourself. Go on Twitter, fill in the gaps.
Danica and Josh.
I really like Danica. Her name's Danica. I hate that. I'm like Danica, Danica.
You say Davide and I say Davide. And he says Davide.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
I thought he was Davide.
Fuck it. We know who we're talking
about.
Danica, right.
I know, because it's just annoying.
I thought Danica was with a K. Danica was with a C.
I thought it was Danica, because I watched another reality show and it's Danica, but anyway, it's Danica. Danica and Josh, feel really bad for Danica. What has she done to those lads for them to hate her so much? Like, those men despise that girl.
She went in and the girl had balls. She went in and tried to make her way in the villa.
Well, I was absolutely screaming the way that everyone was like, it's like she's in there as a journalist. It's like the way that she asks questions.
She's a lot. She needs to chill.
She's a lot, but she was in a relationship from 14 to 20. Yeah. She's only 21 now. Again, she's the second youngest girl.
I don't think she knows how to cope outside of a relationship. And as well, I discovered her TikTok the other day.
Oh.
Very good dancer.
Oh, she's a banger, yeah.
Fucking stunning.
She's an absolute belter.
Oh,
young
she's
one.
beautiful.
Yeah.
But her TikTok with the sexy dances only kind of started because she said she broke up with her fella last August. Consistent.
Oh, there you go.
With that, so she got her, you know, like when you get single and you put it up on your Facebook and you change your profile and you
Do
know
all
all
the
that.
things and all
That's
the
what
things
it was,
and
that
all.
kind of vibe. So I don't know whether she's still giving off that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
It's really like, doing nothing at the weekend. Anybody doing that kind of thing? I'm like, I feel like that's her. That's probably the only thing that's like she might be a bit horsey.
Yeah.
And we mightn't be seeing it.
Yeah.
And like you can tell by the way she, like that you say she's interviewing fucking Zara King.
Oh, how many kids do you want? What's going on?
Yeah,
What's the
yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
fucking hell.
Yeah, like, calm. I think Josh just one-way ticket. That was it.
Yeah, one-way ticket, and also he shouldn't have been cast. He's a boring fuck.
Oh, he's so boring.
There's nothing going on with that man.
He looks 14 as well.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I didn't really understand it as well, but I get why she went, because I was like, there's other birds, there's other blokes there for you, pet.
Yeah.
She's so hot. I think she's beautiful.
She is, yeah.
She's gorgeous. I just don't really understand, but that's what I mean. There's something about her that the lads have just all wrote her off immediately.
Dunno.
She's been rejected by 6 blokes.
Oh, God.
6 men.
Right,
Yeah.
so we have a few single ones now. So Paige, Adam, Coco is now single.
Love Coco. Think she's decent for the show. Definitely somebody that I think should stay in, because I do think that she will cause. I don't think she'll ever be a fan favourite, but I think she'll cause ructions, which I'm here for.
I think she might have a good arc. I think if she finds the right person, she'll have a good arc. Like,
No, I don't think she will. I don't think she'll ever be liked, but I think if she's in there, like, Ekin, in a way that, like, if she's in there to just be, again, an agent of chaos, then, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
But I think she came in, she did what she had to do. And she did it in a way that was gas. Because, like, even when she said the sucking of the tit situation, she was like, how the fuck is he after, like, she was angry when she was saying it. She was like, how the fuck are we after doing X, Y, and Z? And you're kissing me and you're sucking my tits, man. And then all of that, and, like, she was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then she thought about it and she was like, no, why shouldn't I say it?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, why shouldn't you say it?
Yeah.
Dead fried chicken.
Absolutely.
Summer and Deji. So Summer was
Yeah, so
obviously-
I was good. So Deji, these are the kind of single people, because India and Dami are back together now.
Yeah, I love it. I hate the way that I love it, but I love it.
I love it as well.
I love it. I love it so much when they do the running to each other. Oh my god! I was like, how fucking dare you do this on my screens? You're so cute.
I know.
I don't know why. He's gotten a pass.
He has.
I don't know why. I think
what
it's
is
because.
it about him?
Do you know what it is? It wasn't about what he did. It wasn't about him getting with Summer. It was the way that he was acting so fucking icky about it. He was being real, like,
I don't
overindulgent.
really get the. Right, so India obviously got with Deji in Casa Amor and brought him back. Went back to find that Dami had picked Summer. And the two of them had this, like,
Standoff.
Standoff. And I'm like, I said, the both of you have coupled up. Neither of you had an idea that the other one was going to couple up. So where has this venom come from?
I think the venom was, India said that she just had an inkling. She had something in the back of her head that she was like, he's going to couple up.
She does seem like that.
She also said that if she was in London right now, where she's from, she would be dating more than one person. And she did believe the same of Dami. So they must, again, have had conversations about this.
Yeah.
They knew each other. They probably knew each other the most out of any couple.
They probably did, yeah.
Do you know? Because at the moment, they are the most, I would say they are the most solid couple as regards to, they do really enjoy each other's company. I think they do enjoy each other way more than Gemma and Luca do. Because all that basically happens. And I think Gemma's very used to having a bloke who acts really annoying, that she has to kind of tell off all the time.
Yeah. That kind of energy rapper vibe.
Yeah, so she's just kind of, stop. But she's like, this is what men are like. And I'm like, no, they're not.
No,
They're actually not that. But, so I think with them two, India very much said that she was like, if this was London right now, what would I be doing? I would be dating more than one person. So she did bring Deji back with the intentions of, I'll explain it when he's here.
Yeah.
And I'll date the two of them and I'll see how it goes. I don't think she was betting on Summer sitting there with Dami, but I don't think she wasn't betting on it either.
Yeah.
I think the difference between the two of them and why everybody has so much support for India versus Dami is because the way that Dami went about it, he was wild.
Yeah.
He was being wild and acting wild, and the stuff that he was saying, like, he could have very well taken Summer into that villa without being that hardcore for the 3 days that she was in Casa.
Yeah.
He could have not destroyed himself. He could have literally been like, I think there's a vibe there. I think I like you. Maybe a bit of a smooch. Not this like full on constant kisses, constant like acting like a couple for 3 days. Then India comes back and it's flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do think that like I have to commend Deji and Summer for taking it the worst that I've ever seen people take being dumped from Casa. I am shocked, but I'm not. But I have to commend them because like Summer was not having a bar and neither was Deji.
Yeah.
Deji was like, respect yourself, woman, and Summer was like, I can't believe you did this, and I was like, I can and no.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. So is that all I see? Yeah, Jay left.
Thank fuck.
With China.
That was weird. I'm sorry.
weird.
That was the strangest thing. From the beginning, that wasn't happening for me.
No.
That was not happening for me.
Yeah.
I never understood why he went for China and China went for him because China seemed like fucking great crack.
Yeah, she did. And you could
Jay
tell when
seems
she
like
was
zero
leaving.
crack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because when she was leaving, everybody was like, oh my God, China's going. And she had so much energy when she was leaving. I was like, holy shit, she was good crack. Why didn't we see this?
I thought he would have went for Cheyenne or someone kind of boring.
Or Molly?
I thought he'd go for my top 3 for him was Summer, Molly or Cheyenne.
Yeah.
I really thought that he'd end up with one of those because I thought Molly would talk him into it because she seemed to just want to talk anybody into it.
Yeah.
Cheyenne because she was just boring. And Summer because she's fucking beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, she's stunning.
Oh
I
my
hope
God, she's
I
so
hope
unreal.
somebody gets sent in for her that she doesn't get sent home.
No, I'm kind of over. I don't think she's a ton to say for herself. I wish China stayed over Summer.
I don't think she's getting the airtime though that she deserves.
No, but I don't think she will. And I don't want to see her with Josh and I don't want to see her with Deji.
Yeah.
Although I do think Deji is funny.
Yeah.
Actually, I wouldn't mind Summer and Deji.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Give them a week.
Yeah, well, I think they're going to do a mass extinction now in a bit. But
bit
I hope
cold.
Danica stays. I really hope I hope they fuck in some other bombshell. It'd be great if Adam went for it, but he's not gonna.
No, he's not going. He's
He's
going to
gonna
go
go for
straight
Paige.
for Paige, and Jax is going to have a fucking. If did that the whole leaving thing, and he was like, I do. It's insane. I love you.
Yeah.
And she was just like not giving anything back. Like she cried when he had.
Yeah, because she was just like, this is really sad. And also I think she's been put in a really shit
Yeah.
position where she's basically been going to be made choose
Yeah.
by the boys and by everybody, by the public, when he was like, I'll be waiting for you at the airport. I'm like, cool. So if I don't come now, I'm going to have to like mind my P's and Q's while I'm in here.
Exactly.
Like she'll always, because of the people that were like falling for the whole like, I can't believe Jax is gone, because there is a large part of the population who were just happy to overlook all the mad shit that he did and
Yeah.
be like, oh, but he's just a boy and he's just a nice one.
Yeah,
Do you know?
yeah.
Like there really is. Like I saw someone tweet being like, I know there's a load of 12-year-olds wiping their eyes right now, get over it. And I do feel like she will be a little bit, she can't do right for doing wrong at the moment. I think she's in a very difficult position. I don't think she's going to be able to like continue her journey fully.
Yeah. I get
Yeah.
you. I get you.
Yeah.
I get you.
Oh wow, that was an hour.
That was an hour.
Soz. It happened. What can I say?